kill you.
And hey guys, how you doing? Sorry, I know I look a little scruffy today. Uh, I'm not feeling well, but I almost didn't want to do a live stream, but since this is the greatest holiday of the year, I couldn't not do a live stream on Captain Kirk Day, and I'll explain why I'm calling it Captain Kirk Day in just a minute. But first of all, I want to thank Thomas Potts for sending me this lovely gift, the Center Seat 55 Years of Star Trek. So just came today, so obviously haven't watched it yet. But thank you, Thomas. And um, and then I want to kind of explain, you know, my whole thing. And sorry about the light, Darren, and deal with it. It just happens to be on when I started the live stream. I don't have the energy to get up and turn it off. Um, and Lancer, thank you. Happy Captain James D. Kirk Day to you as well. So, why am I calling it Captain Kirk Day and not Star Trek Day? And that's my plan moving forward, if I can remember, next year and the years after, to call it Captain Kirk Day. And that is because it seems like Paramount is doing everything they can to denigrate Captain James T. Kirk. And I don't, and particularly the William Shatner version of Captain Kirk. And so I don't understand why, except that it seems that somebody at Paramount has a grudge against William Shatner, and which is unbelievably petty to piss on the really the face of the brand more than any other single character, and I mean, like this year on the Star Trek Day picture, he's not even in the picture. While he is featured in the very short treks, which I will admit it's funny to a point, but then of course they have to make Kirk into a kind of a whiny little, for lack of a better word, a whiny little bitch at the end, where he needs a woman to save the day for him. And I was like, for real? I mean, I did think it was really funny, but that last part, I was like, wow, that was messed up. Um, because yeah, that just didn't make any kind of sense. Um, and But other than that, I did think it was really funny. I thought it was also interesting in the whopping 22-minute long celebration of Star Trek that they put on Paramount Plus today. Which, I mean, I'm sorry, but for Star Trek Day, if it's really so important, I think I would expect something a little more than a 20 odd minute, uh, you know, uh, video. I know there's a strike going on, but they knew there was a strike coming because this was obviously produced before the strike, since they had, actors in it. So since it was produced before the strike, they could have made it more than 20 odd minutes. However, in this 20 odd minute thing, they had a drag queen do a person on the street interview thing, asking people about whether or not they knew anything about Star Trek, which was just silly and vulgar. And then they had Tawny Newsome, and I can't remember the other person's name, another actress from um, from Lower Decks watching clips from Star Trek, supposedly, like funny and weird moments from Star Trek. And of course, they have to watch from the original series uh, the clip of Spock doing the from Plato's Stepchildren, doing the tap dance routine around Kirk's face. And as he's getting, and I know, look, I'm not blaming Tawny Newsom because I know that this stuff is scripted for them, even though they're trying to make it look like it's them just improvising this stuff. They probably aren't even watching the clips. They're just, doing what the directors tell them to do. But as Spock is putting his foot just above Kirk's face, they're sitting there yelling, "Do it, do it, do it," like they want Spock to crush Kirk's face. And then they're laughing hysterically at Kirk slapping himself and stuff, because they're just basically doing everything they can to make fun of Kirk. Um, and they don't do that. They don't denigrate the other characters like that. They show some silly scenes from other shows, but they never make. But they're not making fun of the actual lead characters. Like they show a scene from Enterprise where I think it's Archer is talking to a beautiful woman who then transforms into a slug kind of creature, and then Archer looks kind of weirded out, and then they talk about, yeah, when was the last time you were on a date and your date turned into a lizard, a lizard monster or something, and they joked around about that, but they weren't making fun of Archer. They were making fun of the situation, and which I thought was more appropriate for if they're gonna, just make jokes about weird moments in Star Trek. They also showed the scene where Riker and Picard killed the hive queen, whatever thing it was from. No, it wasn't the Suliban chick. It was something else. It was which, but uh, I think it was from when they were in the Expanse area, but anyway, yes, but yeah, they showed the Riker and Picard thing with the Parasite Queen, and how gross was that, and how Riker had to look at Picard before they phasered it a second time and stuff like that. Most of it I didn't have a problem with, but the fact that they were like sitting there going, "Do it, do it, do it," when Spock was about to crush Kirk's face, and laughing at Kirk slapping himself, told me exactly what they were trying to do. So yeah, it is no longer Star Trek Day to me. It is James T. Kirk Day, because he is the reason we have Star Trek Day, and so more than any other character. And William Shatner, I know a lot of people. Yes, William Shatner had a big ego back then. That's absolutely true. However, his big ego is the reason that Star Trek became the phenomenon that it became. His big ego, where he was saying things like, "Oh, hey, here's what you should do. You should have the camera focus in on me when I'm doing this." And you know what? That stuff worked. It absolutely worked. And that's why we loved the original series. And guess what? Then, it became the Next Generation and all the rest of it. And yeah, Darren, it's not the only reason. I get that, but my point is that if he didn't do that, would we be sitting here right now? Probably not. Um, so Anyway, until somebody decides to, I pinned the comment, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did. So for anybody who wants to join me, but until somebody does dare to join me, I will just go through the chat. So Samuel, welcome, says, did they show Picard and Crusher deciding to murder Vass and turn to the camera and say, in New Trek, no longer respect life, with a big laugh track playing in the background? No, they did not.
Just
And hey, Darren, how you doing?
Doing all right. You're not feeling well though, huh?
Nah, a little under the weather. So I've been drinking chicken soup and trying to take it easy as much as I can today. And hopefully we will get a special appearance from Danny later. I haven't been able to reach him today, but he's supposedly going to do the one chip challenge with some friends today, which because he says it's, that he can handle any level of spiciness and it will not affect him. And a $20 super chat from Samuel, just because. Thank you so much, Samuel, with a laughing face. Thank you so much. And he gets the dancing chick.
Oh, look,
Cool World.
rotoscoped Kim Basinger.
Yes, indeed. You must not have seen. I have a wonderful selection of dancing girls, including her and Marilyn Monroe and Eartha Kitt and Chris Farley.
You know who that is, right? That character.
Yeah, it's from Cool World.
What's her name?
I don't remember the character's name.
Name is Hollywood.
That's right, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you. And so, Bird, how you doing?
Which one's Bird? You gotta put our names up.
Oh yeah, thank you. I will do so.
I'm doing.
I saw you were over at the virtual con. I was there for just a minute, and I saw
virtual Trek Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there most Fridays.
And they were talking about how awesome Discovery was, and I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you talk about how great Strange New Worlds is.
Yeah, you know what? Discovery and Strange New Worlds not even in the same universe.
Literally literally not only the same universe, literally a spin-off.
One's a spin-off of the other.
You can make that argument, but you can also say that one is so much better than the other that it doesn't matter.
Well, I seem to remember the first episode of Strange New Worlds where Spock mentions his sister.
Yeah, so
which is
in the first episode of Star Trek that was ever filmed, as far as the first episode of the it's funny because actually the second episode that was filmed with the first episode with our intrepid Captain Kirk, his name was James R. Kirk. I mean,
that was because a flawed entity had gotten the ability to control reality, in the vicinity. That was
okay. Is that what it was? If
I didn't know what your middle name was and I needed to create your tombstone on the spot because I'm now this silver-eyed,
didn't know what his middle name was.
Whack job. Well, maybe he forgot. Maybe he had a senior moment. Again, it's one of those things where he was a human being. It indicates, if anything, that what's his face? What was his name again? The character.
Gary Mitchell.
Gary Mitchell was a flawed person, now given all this godlike power, and so there's that.
Or
the only thing that Matt brings up
is that there was a pilot.
Yeah, that nobody cares. It was so old, so early in production.
Oh, it just doesn't count because it was old. Okay.
We give a lot of leeway to the original series.
And I like that de-aging.
Don't get me wrong. I love the original series. You guys know that.
No, I don't think you do anymore.
Yeah, I think your favorite series is now Strange New World.
No, my
I think you
favorite
think it's
series is still the
superior.
original series.
Whatever.
However, unlike others, I can admit that it is flawed and still have it be my favorite series.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
and by the way, if you want to, Professor Brady Speck says any series that makes a mockery of the character of Spock is in the Discovery level of bad. So then you think the original series is in the Discovery level of bad, since Spock makes a rape joke in the first 7 episodes.
It's not a rape joke.
Oh, really? You don't think that was a rape joke?
No,
Oh, okay. What
Gotta
was
hear
it?
it.
it wasn't a
Gotta hear it.
joke.
What was the joke? I don't remember.
You don't remember? It was in the episode "The Enemy Within." After evil Kirk
Oh.
tried to rape Yeoman Rand, at the end of the episode, Spock made a snide comment at Janice about how the imposter had some rather interesting qualities, and then actually smirked at her.
Well, it was the '60s. I mean, that's the era of Mad Men. You know,
A joke is a
you gotta
story with a
remember
humorous
that was
climax.
perfectly fine when it aired. It didn't age well, but that was fine.
I'm not saying. Look, so you're so you're saying
We're talking
that,
about. We give
so
a lot
you're
of
saying
leeway to the US.
that's a valid excuse.
You said it was a joke. It's not a joke. He wasn't joking.
Oh, okay. So Spock was really thinking that was awesome.
Well, no, he didn't say it was awesome. He said it was interesting, and it was.
Okay.
He didn't express a moral value to it. He just pointed out it was some interesting stuff.
Well, come on.
I watched it very recently.
Yeah. The way he does it is clearly he's making a jokey. This is before Spock was completely emotionless. It was done as a bad joke. And Retro Trek, yes, it was a bad joke.
Well, yeah, if anybody's gonna make a bad joke, it's a Vulcan, right? I mean,
yeah.
You expect it to be funny? I mean, what's wrong with you? That's like Worf telling a joke.
Gravestones should use full names, not initials. Well, I can forgive that because, hey, you know, where I would say I would go along with Darren's thing about Gary not being a omniscient being, at least not yet. You know, but so he would not necessarily know that. However, I would argue that he would know Captain Kirk's middle initial, because he always introduces himself as James T. Kirk. And so, you know, what has he never been on the bridge as he said that? I mean,
you know, Stan Lee talked about this issue he had when he was writing the Hulk in the early '60s. He said in some issues I called him Bruce Banner, and others I called him Bob Banner, and we get letters saying, "Don't you know the name of your own character?" And Stan was like, "Well, obviously his name is Robert Bruce Banner, and that is actually what it what it became, just to cover him."
Did you ever listen to Nick Meyer's commentary on Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan? You know, in there he quoted Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who he obviously loves a lot, and he's like, Conan Doyle often made mistakes, continuity mistakes about Sherlock Holmes. Sometimes they were accidental, sometimes they were deliberate, and to him, you know, what does it matter so long as I hold my reader? That, you know, all these little nitpicks don't really matter. As long as you hold, I mean, there's a difference between nitpicks and actually honoring the past continuity if you're going to carry on the franchise. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's like the dedication plaque on the Enterprise says Starship Class, which
sure.
I did a video
in the
on
original
that.
series. That's all they were ever referred to as.
Yeah,
they were never
a video
called
about
Constitution
that.
Class until later.
Right. But you know, again, I did a video on that because a starship would be a type of ship, as evidenced in dialogue. And back then, the Navy had decided to change the verbiage of the type of ship to the classification of ship, and sometimes people abbreviated class, but class means something else. So it was if you were a writer back then trying to emulate a naval vessel, you might get confused if you don't know about that. So
Right.
that was part of that problem.
And Thomas, I actually talked about the video right off the bat. I thought it was genuinely funny until the ending. And I'm talking about the very short treks, Skin a Cat.
So I guess, sorry, go ahead. Thought you were done. Sorry, I cut you off. I didn't.
No, that's okay. If you haven't seen it, it's on the official Star Trek channel.
I understand that Lower Decks' new season has started. Is that?
Yes, and it actually has a pretty good start, I think.
Okay, interesting. All right.
The first 2 episodes of Lower Decks are pretty strong.
Well, I actually got to know the 2 main characters through their live action performance on Strange New Worlds, so I might take an interest now. But I understand they've got like a new Vulcan chick character or something there.
Yeah, she was introduced last season.
Okay.
In an episode called 3 Ships.
I don't think she's going to be a real new character.
Well, she appeared again.
She's not in the credits. It's not like she's been added. She hasn't been added to the show. She's just a guest star, perhaps.
Well, yeah, Rosalind Chow was never added to the main credits of Deep Space Nine either, but she was a one of the many guest stars on that show.
Right.
That got a lot to do.
Yeah, just because they're a guest star doesn't mean you're not going to be on a lot. It just means that you're not guaranteed to be in every episode.
I watched Picard the final season off and on throughout the last 2 days since I got the Blu-ray discs.
The what final season?
Star Trek Picard the final season.
Oh, the 3rd season of Picard.
Is this the first time you've seen it?
No, it's not the first time I've seen it. I watched it because I got the Blu-ray on Tuesday.
I'm sorry.
So.
Did you get the Blu-ray with the mistake in it?
I think all the Blu-rays have the quote mistake in it, but I actually don't mind. I actually don't mind the quote mistake.
What is the mistake?
I can't find that scene you're talking about with the enemy within. Is it early in the episode or late in the episode?
It's the last scene. It's literally the last scene of the episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll look for
it's
it.
Part of the denouement.
Yeah, there's a mistake in the. There's a shot of the Enterprise D in the last episode that in the Paramount Plus airing had a nebula in the background. It was done with computers. It was like a finished shot. And in the Blu-ray, they used a storyboard shot. They used it wasn't a completed shot. It looks great. It's just a model, but space. There's no nebula in the back. And the shot of the Enterprise.
They're both
when the episode aired.
Yeah, they're both finished shots. One of them, the one that everybody's calling the unfinished shot was in the EU version of the stream. And to be honest, it looks like an updated version of an effects shot we would have gotten in the Berman era.
Yeah,
and that's why I kind of like it. I didn't care for the as much. I actually like it better than the one that they went with the nebula, because the other shot really hits home the difference between the D's warp drive and for example the Titan's warp. Because Titan just seemed to not only be at warp but also be in a slipstream tunnel, whereas the D still has that subtle, stars moving past the ship kind of thing.
Right. And so Professor Brainy Specs thought that the very short trek had more humor than Lower Decks. Okay. Well, it was faster paced than Lower Decks, but then it's only 3 minutes long. Miss Moneypenny, I don't think they're going to drop 2 episodes of Lower Decks every week. I think that was just for the premiere. And
It's just,
Thomas
I-
thinks Bird should get one of those skeleton eating animals. I think
I-
Bird is one of those skeleton eating animals.
I didn't watch Lower Decks, the new episodes. In fact, I did like season 1, but there is something about the humor on that show that I don't like. Like, I don't like the idea that they have to give silly names to everything. Like, oh, I bumped my head on the ceiling of my bunk. That's Denty. I'm gonna miss Denty. I mean, these are just. It's like Badgie, Denty. Like, everything's got to have a stupid name, and it's like really bad humor. Like, I don't even like it. And did you notice that there was an Orville joke in the last episode?
No, not actually.
Like, there was a reference to an Orville episode where, you remember in the first season of Orville when they're held in the zoo, the Caliban Zoo, and they're like, all the little aliens are red. They're like a little red people that with their kids, and they're walking around checking humans out. And then in this episode of Lower Decks, there's a little red kid, skin colored kid that comes
Actually,
in.
he was orange.
What's that?
He was orange. And
The point is, it was obviously a reference to the Orville episode.
I thought he was a reference to the people from the Apple.
Well, it could be a reference to both, but the point is that
I don't think he was a reference to the Orville at all. I think you just saw that because you love the Orville so much.
My point is, I don't like these gimmicky. Like, it gets tiring. Let's call it Denty. Let's call it Badgie. Let's call it Dog. Let's just come up with stupid names for everything. I mean, is that really funny?
Yeah,
like, what happened to some, like,
it is. It is funny. I mean,
yeah.
I understand. I mean, to a lot of people, and the problem is humor is in the eye of the beholder, and so you obviously don't find that kind of humor funny. I happen to think that Lower Decks is funny, and you know, it's you know, it's like they had one reference to the episode that introduced Darren to these characters, which I thought was cute, where when they're starting their mission on Voyager, which, by the way, Darren, you will appreciate. They create an absolutely beautiful 3D render. Oh, and there's Danny, who I've been trying to get a hold of you all day, Danny. Geez, check your voicemail once in a while. Anyway,
sorry to break in. I'm going to drop off.
All right.
Have a good night, guys.
You have a good one,
Take care.
But you know, you should stay tuned, since it looks like Danny's going to do the one chip challenge. Yes, Danny, I got an email from Amazon specifically offering me a refund from the one chip that I purchased back when me and Matthew did it, because that kid that died.
Pikachu.
And they're no longer, and they're not, okay, stop, Chief. And they're no longer going to sell it. But yeah, in the statement, you know, the people from Pocky, the people that make the one chip, they also said that, you know, that was never meant for kids, and their product does say that it was not meant for kids. And Thomas, shut up. Now I can't remember what I was saying before Danny popped in and interrupted me. What was I saying, Derek?
You were telling something that would like or appreciate something.
Yeah. So so when you would like the fact that they created an absolutely beautiful 3D model of Voyager.
Why would I like that?
Huh?
Why would I like that?
Well, because it's just really well done. Like, it looks better than Voyager ever looked on Voyager.
I never liked Voyager as a design.
What is this that they on in what show?
On Lower Decks.
Really?
Voyager looks incredible on Lower Decks. They
got its ablative armor things too.
Huh?
It still has its ablative armor projectors too.
No,
So it's basically like it was when it returned from the Delta Quadrant.
Well, it's a museum piece now, and
Okay.
their mission is to transport Voyager to Earth for its dedication ceremony as a museum piece. And unfortunately, bad things happen along the way. But while they're getting ready for the mission, Boimler is a little nervous about the mission, and Mariner looks at him and she says, "Oh, don't worry. This is nothing compared to that whole Pike thing that we can't talk about."
Well, at least they mentioned it. Yeah.
So yeah,
I would like
I'm
them to
looking at a
come
clip
back.
right now. It doesn't look better than the model.
Okay. Well, Mercer, that's your opinion. Yeah, I think it does. But for one thing, it's more detailed, and they get really up close and personal with it a couple of times. But if you don't like it, that's fine.
See, what I would like to see when the next time that the lower decks people cross over with Strange New Worlds, I would like the Cerritos to come through into the real.
Oh, I would love that.
Into the real, just for a couple of shots, have it like maybe help the original Enterprise out of a jam with a tractor beam or something, and then go back where they belong.
Right.
I think the scale is wrong. I'm looking at the picture where people are around it. It looks like it's not even the main hull. The secondary hull is not even much bigger than a 747. And with this ship that has many decks, it looks way too small.
Mercer, you just get hypercritical about things you don't like.
No, I'm looking at the picture, and it looks like the stairway going up there is like a 747 jet. It's like
I will say earlier I said I didn't like Voyager as a design, and that's not 100% true. I actually don't like Voyager, but I like the intro.
I didn't. Class. Yeah, the Voyager show I didn't care for that much, but I thought the Voyager as a ship was actually a fairly good design.
And in the episode Inter Urnum, whatever that Latin title was, where they had the USS Bellerophon.
Yeah,
and that went to Romulus, and we got Adrian Barbeau, hubba hubba, in that episode. And it's they just redressed all the Voyager sets. I'm like, that's a good looking ship. I like that because it wasn't Voyager, even though it was Voyager.
They wanted to make the mission seem like it was important, but they didn't want to use the Defiant sets again, so they just said we got to just do Voyager sets.
Yeah, it was a pretty good reuse of assets. I didn't have a problem with it, but that was the first time I looked at that at the Intrepid class. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. I actually like that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I just I do the same thing. Agree with some of you guys. Voyager just didn't make no sense. The second thing, I never like the idea of especially with Janeway sits on the right, and Dakota is actually sitting in the center. That no one like that. That was just from day one. No one like that.
I don't like any bridge set where there's two chairs. It's like I can grudgingly tolerate 3 chairs if obviously the captain is sitting in the middle one. But there's only one exception to that rule, though. I actually did like the Hathaway's bridge with the helmsman being right next to the captain's.
But turned 90 degrees.
Well, it wasn't turned. They were both facing the same way.
Oh, I thought on the.
You mean that chair with Worf?
You were paying too much attention to Ensign Actress or whatever her name.
Yeah, that must be it.
Yeah.
What is the Hathaway from?
Yeah.
What is the Hathaway from?
Peak Performance.
Yeah.
What?
Peak Performance.
The episode Peak Performance. It's the last real episode of season 2.
Yeah. My problem with that is just that it's too close together. Voyager was all right. It just Chakotay was. Go ahead.
Well, what I find interesting is if you know anything about Picard's alleged backstory, is he reported to the Stargazer, and even though he was the first officer, his act that was like his collateral duty, kind of like how Spock was science officer and first officer, right? So Picard was the primary helmsman and the first officer, and it makes sense if that's where he sat, because then he would be sitting right next to the captain. But what's interesting is when we did see the Stargazer bridge, apparently when he took over, he had the bridge redesigned and put himself in the middle, and just, sort of like Kirk,
Yeah. Bradley, here's the funny thing. Voyager looks like a ship that a corporation would build.
Yeah,
because it looks sleek. It looks designed to looks like it's supposed to look good.
Yeah.
When you think about ships that the military would build, nothing from Starfleet qualifies. I would picture it's like more like what you see from the Cardassians as something that the military, they would build something that is functional but ugly.
Yeah, I always thought Steam Runner looked like it was the Enterprise designed by Russians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Hello,
Same thing about
everybody.
Hey, Kermit, now I'm going to warn you. Today is James T. Kirk Day, so we're only talking about Star Trek and Star Trek adjacent topics.
All right, I'll be on here a few minutes. I don't know how long I can stand. You never know.
I'm just warning you, don't go into murder mysteries and stuff.
When you leave, don't forget to leave your Force Ghost behind when you leave.
Yeah.
Wrong
Okay.
franchise.
Chief, fix your icon, will you?
What? It's not working?
No, your icon's blank.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget to leave
I
your
can
Force
tell.
Ghost behind.
Okay.
Wrong franchise.
So,
But also,
Judith wants to know, why is the bridge called a bridge? I saw bridges were made to let people cross over things like rivers, roads, or railways.
Well, that's a good question. There's this thing we have called the internet, and you could probably find the answer to that question if you Google it.
Wow.
Wow. Especially, I'm shocked.
You are so snarky, man.
I'm shocked. Yeah, I'm really surprised.
I thought you'd give an answer, Darren.
Yeah.
You're the Mr. Navy guy.
Well, I'd have to look it up.
That's
So,
the same
I mean,
thing. Well, we called it because it had the ship.
There are a lot of terms that we use in everyday vernacular that come from very strange sources. Like today, for example, I learned that the mall and shopping mall goes all the way back to Old English, and it was short for mallet, because they equated the craftsmanship area, the craftsmanship area, or the craftsman area of a city was where people went to go shop and buy things, and it just and then it grew from there. There's a shopping area in London that's on a street called Pall Mall, and
I thought Pall Mall was a brand of cigarettes.
It is also a brand of cigarettes, yes. But no. So I mean, the bridge it's probably I could guess, but it's usually the top of the tallest superstructure on a vessel. So
Ta-da!
So
ta-da.
I changed my avatar.
Star Frog. There you go.
I found the answer.
So the
At least
nautical
for
term
today.
originated from the narrow raised platform bridging the two sides of the first steam-powered vessels that typically have paddle wheels on either side of the ship.
I was just going to read that answer out loud, but you beat me to it.
I'm sorry, Mercer.
Michael.
Mercer, you got beat by the guy with dyslexia.
Do you think the militaries will make ships that are ugly looking yet strong, like versatile, like Federation ships?
Well, I don't think they would look like Federation
ships like the Federation in real life.
In my life?
No, I
No.
said in real life.
Oh,
Like we were talking a few minutes ago. When
I
hopped
don't think
on.
they would look like. I think corporations would probably make ships that look. And Chief Cook, will you get that ugly ship off of there?
I don't know what
ship.
This
It
is
doesn't-
James T. Kirk Day. I do not want that abomination on my screen
I'm,
on
That's
James
a
T.
ship.
Kirk Day.
I'm sorry
that's a
about
ship.
my
It's
picture
just
if it
sure.
offends.
It's
No,
James,
and your picture doesn't offend Kermit. It's Chiefs,
yeah, Chief
Yeah.
Cook.
which I don't get. I don't see why it's a problem. But you know.
Yeah.
Salty has a tick.
I do have a pet peeve about that ship. And
Hmm.
and the thing is, Chief Cook knows I don't like that ship, and yet he puts it up there every single time.
And then now Mercer's joined Cobra. Apparently, doesn't want to join
Yeah, I guess
Starfleet.
so.
So yeah,
Mercer.
yeah. One of these kids is
Well,
not like the other. One of
I
these
agree,
kids is doing his
Bradley.
own
I
thing.
think that the United States military would have ships that look like the Borg ships.
Oh,
That's
I don't know
what
about that. I don't know about
would,
that.
that's what military vessels would look like.
Well, are you kicking him off, or is he
I
dropping?
did not kick him off. He
I didn't. Wait a minute. I didn't kick myself off.
yeah,
Okay,
you
huh.
did. You did.
No, I
something.
didn't. No, I didn't.
I wonder if
I don't know anything about due south. I don't know what you're talking about, due south. You said that I should watch a show called Due South.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Brandy.
I don't agree that they would look like Borg ships or cubes or spheres. I really don't. It all depends on what they build first. I mean, honestly, the Starfleet style, even if you go all the way back to the NX-01, makes sense in that it's all geared around their propulsion system. So
Yeah.
it's but again, if warp drive was real, it would probably have to look like that. Humans would probably want to have the nacelles away from the ship for safety reasons and stuff
yeah,
like
but
that.
also we also don't forget that the Air Force gonna say something big before we need. We gotta say anything about it. So
Yeah, but look at actual long-range spacecraft that we built.
yeah, I
And
mean,
they all actually look very similar to each other.
yeah, I mean, the shuttle was the closest thing we got.
The shuttle is not a long-range spacecraft. The shuttle.
I know. I mean,
orbit.
it could have been. I know, but it could have been.
Generally
it couldn't have
speaking,
been.
there's no
The shuttle
spacecraft
could
that
not
we've
be a
ever built.
long-range spacecraft. It doesn't have any kind of communications array that can communicate from beyond orbit. And it doesn't have a propulsion system that could go beyond orbit. And
Okay,
so
what about
It's basically a lifting body, is what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Okay, what was it? What was that? The Phoenix from Phoenix. Okay, what's that? What's that movie? Was it Generation? No, not Generation.
Well, Generations had the Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah,
It was a nuclear missile with nacelles on it.
Yeah, I can see something like that. It's just a start.
that would
First
the
Contact.
problem is something like that would only be able to achieve orbit.
I thought it was First
I
Contact.
mean,
that had the missile.
I'm talking about.
Or yeah,
from-
First Contact. Yeah, I mean, but the nacelles are there, and obviously he's come up with Impulse. So
Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah, like that. I mean, he's trying. I mean, just trying to leave orbit, basically. I mean, seriously, really leave orbit, going from here to the moon and maybe back, or and keep going back and forth like that. I can see that. But if you're going, when you're going deeper, it may try to make it bigger, so you can move more. But I think
I think in the end, the ships will look what the ships look like will depend on what area and they are from, and if we ever get so many colonies.
No.
Let me finish. And what the needs are for the ship are.
Well, obviously, like for example, like cargo ships would be probably unmanned.
Yeah.
Because there's really no need to have a person on them. They're just big cargo containers that you shoot at wherever you're going to go. But as far as exploration type ships, you're going to send unmanned ships first. And then you're going to send a manned ship or with a a landing module kind of thing.
Okay, I get a great.
But
Yeah, I get a great example.
It's going to end up looking like a larger version of Voyager.
Yeah, I get a great example.
Just with a landing module attached.
Yeah, I get a great example. Okay, Kermit. Okay, we sent a module to Mars, correct? Okay, guys, we sent
Yes.
what?
Yeah, we sent the.
You're not going to get me to agree to that, no. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, or Mars, what the rover was it rover? Rover, what do they call it? Okay, rover.
Yes, Mars rovers.
Yeah, they're gonna continue to do like that and keep trying to make it better and better and better until they really satisfied having to send in one human. But from what I heard, if I remember correctly, they were talking about going back to the moon first. So it's going to depend if NASA and where administration comes in, because they damn mind between Mars and the moon. Now before Trump left office, he did say, that was the main mission right there. Just go back to the moon. This time will be a man and a woman. What we call Adam and Eve project.
Ooh, send a man and a woman. That's exciting.
Yeah, I know.
I got to say, I don't care what the gender of the people that go are.
Yeah, I know. But
now, this is what Viking looked like when it was in space. And this actually had a land. I know, Darren, you think this is all bunk, but this notice it has a big communications array, it has solar panels, and it has a lander. This is what can actually send someone to another planet. This is something like what it would look like. It's not going to look like some kind of sleek, cool starship.
It looks like my ceiling fan.
Well, it might if it had a warp drive. I mean, the whole idea I was talking about was that it's all based on the propulsion system that we have.
Well,
so in Star Trek, you look at the NX-01. If we had warp drive and you needed two nacelles, it would probably look like that. Saucers.
But
I think
it would look like kind of like that, except add two nacelles to it, because keep in mind that what they don't take into account in Star Trek or any other sci-fi show for the most part is what a premium space is that you can't, is that building a pressurized system that can withstand space, the actual vacuum of space, is no easy task, and building one the size of the Winnebago.
That was my biggest problem with the film The Martian. Did you ever see The Martian with Matt Damon? That was my biggest problem with that movie, was that I was on board with most of it. I was even on board with the idea that Mars had a thicker atmosphere than in real life. But when they showed the ship that the crew was in, and there was like exercise machines and like a large gymnasium.
Would be exercise machines.
Let me finish what I'm saying. When they were showing like a large gymnasium with like an exercise machine, like a stationary bike, I was like, come on, there's space on that. There would not be a lot of space on that ship for anything except for the needs of the crew, and that would be even if that.
Exercise is a need.
Right, but I mean, we're talking about a huge room. We're talking about a huge room where they had the luxury to like walk around.
I don't remember how big the rooms were in The Martian, but
But yeah, you watch that movie, you'll see what I mean. I'll try to get a picture. Hold on.
I like space as a fantasy environment, and things like the Bajoran solar sailor I thought were really imaginative and fun. And
Are you talking about on the ship, Mercer, not on Mars?
Yeah, I'm talking about on the ship when they're going home, and before for example, before they realize that he's actually alive, they show them working out, they show them on exercise bikes, and this is like a huge amount of space.
Yeah. I agree with you there.
Well, let me jump in real quick. I kind of I do want to disagree with you on one thing. I know you said the shuttle is not, but it can be. Remember what's that movie Impact? And they use like the problem with the shuttle. They had all that room. They can cover that room up right there and fill it up. But remember, when they stopped making the shuttle, not besides it was designed for a little bit, but it was costing money. But I think they kept on. Had the money and had great design. I think it could have been the next transport shuttle from point A to point B.
That
If
looks
they,
like.
yeah,
But,
I think if they fix it right. But
The,
Yeah,
that
that's the
looks like
picture.
that
That's
looks
what I
like
was thinking of. I
2001: A
mean,
Space Odyssey. That's what that
Depend-
yeah,
looks like to me.
but it just looks like they have
depending
way
on-
too much space. You think they'd only have enough room to barely store their supplies?
Mercer.
Like with what you're saying.
Hold on. So this room, I think Mercer's right. This room would be completely first of all, look at all the empty floor, right? And one thing you would never see on an actual spaceship, and look in any, like if you look at the ISS, if you look at any, you would never see any space that's not being used.
right.
And if you look at the fact that there's like, you could fit another treadmill in between her and the stair stepper that's in front of her. That's absolutely ridiculous.
And I want to add one thing to it.
May
It's an Impact, the movie Impact. They combined the special shuttle and the international space station together, and you can see that, and everything was connected. Everything was tight, close. Everything, they used every part together. You're absolutely right. It wasn't like that. No wide open. Everything was almost like a small submarine, but in that room like that. You're absolutely right about that.
Can I please speak?
what
been-
is it, Kermit?
I was trying to say, depending on where you're from, ships we might have weird designs for ships.
Right, but it's not about having a weird design in this case. It's just about the practicality. Like,
Some ships might do that.
no, this is not okay. The windows is a huge vulnerability on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed?
Okay, fair enough about the windows, but the ground space.
So, that's. I mean, look, you have, if you look there, she's got like a foot thick metal walls with glass windows, and the glass windows are the majority of the wall. That makes no sense. Then you have the fact that this room is 90% open air space, wasting 90% of the room, which is something that you would never ever do. And I mean, this means that they spent hundreds of millions of dollars building this room for nothing. And keep in mind, we can see just in this one picture 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of exercise equipment that are not being used right now.
Exactly.
And so, the way you would design it is, I don't know what the crew complement of this ship is, but you would design it so
I think there were like
basically
6 or 7
have it so
people
that,
on board.
huh?
I think there were like 6 or 7 people on board.
All right, then you don't need to have more exercise equipment than you have people.
Exactly. Go look at the International Space Station, and see how they built that, and see how many
have
people.
Enough exercise equipment so that they could work out in shifts.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
They don't all need to work out at the same time.
Right.
And they don't need to have every type of exercise equipment under the sun.
Yeah.
You know how many pieces of exercise equipment we had on the submarine?
0.
We had one stationary bike back in the back aft in engineering, and then we had a free weight set that nobody used in the torpedo room.
Yeah, because I was scared of death.
and the reason why nobody used it was because the free weight set was all like the real light weights. They're small, It was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it dropped and hit something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you dropped it and it fell into a bilge or something, that's an issue. But nobody used it. It was just there for looks,
Now, someone who lives on a carrier, we had everything. We did have a gym. We did have the whole 9 yards. Everything you see in Planet Hollywood, we had it, but we had it in one area of the ship, so everybody can go. That spot right there, you stay right there. And sometimes they had to move around when we had parties and stuff like that. But we did have stuff like that because our ship was bigger.
And Thomas, I don't even understand that question.
What?
He asked if I'm writing the show on a white wall.
What does that mean?
Yeah, me neither. But anyway, the thing you got to remember about that set, and that's what it was a set. It was designed to tell the audience, hey, we're in space, and that's even something like 2001: A Space Odyssey, with all the curvature of the space station and the centripetal force, simulating gravity and the various other things they did, was, while it looked accurate, or like it could be accurate to somebody, average Joe, it probably didn't look very accurate to the people that work in that field.
Even the XO1 had a gym. They had a gym. They had a basketball court, if I remember correctly.
Well, that was in the cargo bay, I think,
okay.
or the shuttle bay. I think that they did that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it was a multi-purpose space. So I mean, it's one of the things it could do. Just like the cruise mess could also be where they watch movies.
They had a treadmill in there. Was it what treadmill was in there, or
there was I think that was a cargo bay that had been redressed. I mean, that's also where the Makos did their training and stuff like that. It's not a dedicated gym. It's a multi-purpose space.
Okay.
Just like the cruise mess was.
Okay. I remember the episode. I remember.
Everything on a sub has dual purpose. So, for example, the table that the officers ate at in the wardroom also was a full operating table.
And Zoidberg donated $1. Said, "Hello, my friends. I hope you're watching the show. It's all about me."
Well, they rebooted Futurama.
And that's not Star Trek adjacent, Frog. Anyway,
telling you what it was about, what he was talking about.
Yeah, I know who Zoidberg is.
Sometimes,
getting back to that, there's nothing. There's very few things on a high premium space spatial environment. I'm not talking about space as an outer space. I'm talking about space on board a ship. That doesn't have a dual purpose. Things like that. What, Kermit?
I was gonna say that when we do event, we will have all sizes of ships eventually.
We already do have all sizes of ships. No. We already do have all sizes.
But you have to understand, Kermit, and this is why I was talking about a ship that looks like Voyager, both inside and out, would end up being built by a commercial enterprise, not by the military. And part of that is because, just like cruise ships, if you look at the modern cruise ship, they actually have rooms that are luxurious by seafaring standards. They have swimming pools. They have, all sorts, bars and lounges and, casinos and all sorts of stuff. And it's commercial enterprise. Get it? By
the way, Voyager was built by a commercial enterprise. It's called Paramount.
Wait
a minute.
There is a very good interview with Rick Sternbach, the designer of Voyager, on Trek Yards, where he talks about what their edict was, and basically what they said was we took a shuttlecraft and we just stretched it out into a starship, and that's it's all one piece, and that's why it looks the way it does.
Wait a minute, has there ever been an episode actually talk about how much money the Star Trek finished ship in any episode? Anybody?
No, they don't. I don't think.
Salty, has there ever been an episode like that?
Where they talk about how much money a ship costs?
Yeah.
Anything like that?
On a show where they consistently talk about how money doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they didn't. They never did. People have asked Picard this, and he says he just blows it off like the economics of the future are somewhat different than what you're used to.
Yeah, in First Contact, Lily asked Picard how much the Enterprise.
Yeah, if I remember. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
but and in the only time that any kind of answer to something like that is ever given is when in the Apple, when Spock almost kills himself by getting poisoned by the plant that shoots its thorns. Kirk says, to not be so stupid. Do you have any idea how much Starfleet has invested in you? And he starts to say 139,000. He says, "Shut up." So that which means that despite there no money, apparently
somebody paid the bill.
Well, I think that there probably was still some form. I mean, again, Kirk said that they're still using money in the 20th century. You have to find some, but I think that what he's referring to is actual hard physical currency.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where my head canon goes with that too.
Yeah, credit.
Yeah, it's the only way to reconcile it, because in the first episode of TNG, Crusher buys, meaning she had to use money of some kind,
right, to
buy fabric at Farpoint Station.
She said put on the credit.
But the problem is that Picard explicitly says that people don't work for wealth. That the acquisition of wealth is no longer a driving force. People just want to better themselves.
Yeah, I think he was just wrong.
I think that's because here's where my
Picard is one of those. Hold on. I think Picard's one of those captains where if you're on his ship and he tells you that it rains upside down, then you believe it rains upside down while you're on his ship. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can reconcile it. It's like I've actually had captains tell me, ridiculous things about the world, and if you're in their presence, you have to go along with it. It's almost like a power trip, and then as soon as you're not on the boat, you forget all that, because that's just his delusion.
Yeah, well, Samuel says the Federation gets their money from the cut that Bella Oxmix keeps sending them.
But then she said, they all talk about credit. So they all talking about us.
Well, they talk about credits in The Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, Cisco's restaurant. How is he able to get the ingredients to make his food? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just a government cafeteria that you run? I mean, is that what it is? Because
what if I want to own a restaurant and there's no spaces?
Yeah, right, and what about the episode when Riker is talking to Quark and he said, "Put on my tab or lap or lap." Was it what that money called it? What's that?
He had some vouchers. Riker had some vouchers that were only good at Quark's bar because Quark didn't have enough latinum to cover Riker's winnings at the Dabu table. Right. So he
He gave him Quark bucks.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But my headcanon with Picard is that Picard is an extremely wealthy indivible.
His family. His family.
Yeah. He has old money. He owns a vineyard that's been in the family for centuries. And he does, he lacks for nothing. Now, keep in mind that he also happens to know people who are destitute, like Raffi. Right. So he knows that there is definitely socioeconomic scale in the Federation and even on Earth. Right. So there are rich people and poor people within the Federation, despite Picard's headcanon himself that there's nothing except for people trying to better themselves. And so what Picard thinks is that there's no money, nobody worries, because he's never spent a dime in his life because his servants do all that for him.
Also, he's been in space half his life.
Well, no, he's not in space all the time. He spends a lot of time on the vineyard. but the thing is that he has his Romulan slaves do his, they.
Well, I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if they're slaves. They're definitely employees. But
No. As far as he's concerned, they're slaves because he doesn't think there's any money. So they're working
maybe they get paid in wine.
Getting paid.
Maybe they get paid in wine.
Okay, let me get it straight. Okay. Maurice Carr had the vendor, right? Correct. He died, so the vendor came to him. Right? But came to him. Well, they didn't say about his wife. Okay, what was his wife? The boy died, his nephew, and his brother died.
What are you talking about, Chief? What does this have to do with the conversation we're having about money?
Yeah, no, I'm getting to that. I'm talking money. I'm talking the money. So money. So when they died, the vendor came to him. He came to Arizona, the vendor, but not. So
he's already been the vineyard was already. It was in their name. It wasn't just in his brother's name.
Okay.
Chateau Picard was the family vineyard. It wasn't just his brother's.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just that Picard became the sole heir of it when his brother died.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because his brother and nephew died.
Yeah.
In the fire, which changed the whole look of the chateau. But it's
yeah.
But they never say anything about his wife.
Fire department
they never say anything about what his wife.
Yeah, that's something I was often
because in the 24th century, the fire department is a bucket brigade, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, So I mean, all they'd have to do is just take a shuttle, fly over that burning house, and put a force field dome on it, so that it burns up. So that it uses up the oxygen or converts all the oxygen to CO2, and then puts out the fire.
Transport, fire to space.
No, you're not going to transport fire, though, Chief.
But they could beam his brother and nephew out of the fire.
That too, yeah. On Earth in Europe, one of the more heavily populated areas on Earth. Yeah, it's a very strange thing that when they said that in Generations, I was like, wait a minute, that's on Earth.
So there's hardly any people in France.
Yeah. So
it's such a sparsely populated area,
Yeah. And especially when you have a vendor like that, you got open field and spaces, and all you guys wine trees, what do you call them? Grapes and everything.
Grapevines.
Yeah, thank you. Grapevines and all that stuff. You don't think someone could put some fires, machine that save the vines or something?
And we're told by Cisco on Deep Space Nine that Earth is paradise. It's a park lake. It's all these wonderful things, and yet Picard's family can die in a house fire on Earth.
Well, in paradise, you don't need a fire department.
You know what else could have happened? They could have died due to smoke inhalation or injuries after the fire.
Well, no, he specifically said they burned to death in the fire. Yeah.
So all technology.
Chief, make up your mind. You want to be here or not?
Huh? Yeah, Chief, you keep dropping out and coming right back in.
I'm not dropping out. Oh, can you hear me?
You absolutely are. You have been dropping out and coming back in every few minutes throughout this live stream.
Okay,
your internet is doing something wonky, dude.
By the way, thank
how's that?
And I was just
I don't know.
We don't know.
Because
we don't know. We won't know until you stop popping out and popping back in.
Okay. My bad.
Thank you, Darren. By the way, about
Wow, you didn't call him Darian.
I almost did.
Are you okay?
I don't know.
Wow.
Why are you
hopefully any minute now we're going to get, just so you guys know, I just want all of you guys to be aware. Hopefully, and you're not going to want to miss this. So hopefully any minute now we're going to get Danny Dork Knight on. And and if we do, we're going to make him the featured person on the screen because he is going to do the one chip challenge live.
How does that relate to Captain Kirk Day?
Well, I'm just going to enjoy watching him suffer, and I'm hoping you will too.
Yeah. There. Well, I I mean, he might just replace it.
This is
He
Captain
might
Kirk Day, not
he
the
might
people
replace
from
the
Apple
chip with
Day.
something else. I mean, do you trust Danny? I mean,
Oh Jesus.
Do I trust Danny?
Yeah.
Well,
He might replace it with a
said in the
different
chat
chip.
that he was there. That he was there. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, hopefully he won't inhale any of that chip dust like Life with Matthew, and then have a problem and die.
well, Danny keeps insisting that he's like had all this super fire hot stuff and it doesn't affect him.
Right, but chip dust in your lungs is a different matter. That's what got Matthew. So
right.
Speaking about Matthew, where's Matthew been?
I told him about what happened to Matthew, and of course,
yeah, what happened? What's wrong with what happened to Matthew?
He's busy.
He's busy.
Yeah,
been busy. I mean,
yeah. The reason Matthew's not doing the Friday night thing anymore is just because he's a youth pastor now.
Oh, I remember.
Which is the ideal job for him, to be honest.
Yeah, that really is the perfect job for him. And
I mean, when you look up that job in the encyclopedia, there's a picture of Life with Matthew there, smiling at you. Hi, diddly
was his wife sick? Was his wife sick?
You know what they did? You know, remember how they did you see that last not the Spider-Verse, but the last Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Man No Way Home?
No, yeah, it's on No
Way Home.
Okay, so you remember how when Tobey Maguire showed up and they said, "Are you going to go into the fight dressed like a cool youth pastor?" What they did was they borrowed those clothes from Matthew.
Oh.
That's
how I remember something happened to his wife, right?
I thought we weren't talking about anything but Star Trek.
And Professor, I don't know anything about this due south you keep talking about. So, just telling me it's good doesn't tell me anything. Why is it so great? What is it about? Is it a great sci-fi show?
It's a Canadian comedy drama.
Really? It's a Canadian crime comedy?
They can't have crime. Nothing happens in Canada. Oh wait,
it's
sometimes
not even that. That sounds lame.
It took
I'm
place
sorry.
from 94 to 99.
Oh boy.
And the man has arrived.
All right. So I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I'm gonna give my phone. I'm gonna give my phone to my buddy here in a second.
Well, here we go.
Let's see. Yeah, there we go.
Wait, who's your buddy?
JD, the bartender, right there.
Okay.
So, hey, JD.
So he's gonna record me doing this, but this is unopened. I heard Darren Wagner's concerns about me cheating. We're gonna open this, and let's see, how do I flip this camera? Can I flip the camera?
Wow.
You'll start crying in a minute.
Champ for his name. Maybe
Chief, you dropped off again.
Camera. That one. All right.
Hold on, I gotta edit this.
All right. So I gotta wait for JD. Okay, JD.
I think that's better.
Wait a minute. What's that drink?
All right. So how do what? Oh, hang on. Gloves? Yeah. Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you don't want to touch it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're gonna need some gloves. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you do need some gloves for that.
Oh, he's got the ice cream out and ready.
Just in case, I don't think I'll need it.
Shit.
Oh, you don't think you're gonna need the ice cream, dude?
No, I don't think so.
I can't wait to watch. See,
you got this waiver you want me to sign?
There is a superhero in the Legion of Superheroes called Matter Eater Lad, and he's able to eat anything. That's his power.
We might
be witnessing this.
Yes, it is really one ship.
Okay.
Why are you doing this?
Because he thinks he can handle it.
I know I can handle it, Mike. Don't be talking shit already.
So why are you putting the gloves on?
Because, I'm in a public establishment and he's making me. He's telling me to.
No, you got safety because you wave the hand.
Legal paperwork.
Technically, a restaurant is not a public establishment. It's a private establishment, but that's okay.
You know what I mean. All right.
What is it?
All right.
In that little package is a single tortilla chip.
It's very hot, Kermit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, whole
All right.
thing goes
Wait.
in.
Let me do a pre. Since I can't drink for a while,
Don't
said,
do
let me
it.
take a drink real quick.
You may want to stop playing.
All right, we ready? We watching this? Yeah. All right.
Is he swallowing?
He will. Don't worry. He better.
All right, he's got the whole thing in there now.
Yeah.
Take the gloves off. Take the gloves off so you don't.
Why is he only eating one?
Wait for it.
There is only one.
Wait for it.
That's why it's called the one chip challenge.
Wait for it.
What are we waiting for, guys?
Oh, just you can give it a minute. You think it's nothing, and then it'll kick in.
Okay. Something's supposed to happen.
He's saying that, but
I'm impressed. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm
oh
impressed.
no.
right
I'm
now.
I'm not impressed yet.
Wait for it.
How long do we have to wait?
Just wait
Couple
for
minutes.
it.
How you feeling?
Fine.
It's hot?
Mhm.
Not yet.
He's sweating a bit.
Well, he's in Vegas.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Starting to get hot.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling it now. Woo.
Wait till you go home.
Yeah, see.
All right, Michael, you happy? You won.
Oh, don't drink that. That'll make it worse. You gotta go for the dairy.
See?
Got tears.
What'd you say?
See the
Already
tear?
teared up.
Yeah,
Already
he's
teared
tearing
up.
up. Okay, all right.
Ah. All righty. I feel like it's going to hurt more coming out.
Oh yeah, it will.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You're gonna have to
You're
get
gonna
a
feel it when you get
full
home.
report.
That's why you
Chief,
gotta
fix your internet.
chew it up really good.
You will. You're gonna feel it real bad.
Woo.
How you doing there?
Doing all right, Mike?
But you can tell he can handle the pain, though. That's the thing. He's not
He's
being theatrical.
Well,
you know what I mean?
he's not talking because he's trying to focus
He's
on.
talking. He's saying things.
He's saying a couple of words at a time. He's not being
hadn't
braggadocious as usual.
If he hadn't taken his glasses off and shown us that tear, I wouldn't think he's crying at all. He looks very normal to me right now.
Well, thank you, Darren. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, you
But
You may want
No,
to start taking that ice cream.
I'm tearing up some more. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to start eating that ice cream now.
All right.
You need ice cream?
Yeah, I'm tapping out.
yeah, go for it. Yeah, there you are.
There you go. Start eating ice cream. Yeah.
The problem is that the ice cream, it makes it feel good while you have the ice cream in your mouth, but
Right.
then as soon as the ice cream's gone,
Oh
the
man.
burn comes back.
Now
How
my
is
nose
this
is running.
possible?
Now my nose is running. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You realize you just ate a chip that is spicier than actual pepper spray.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
He said the chip is spicier than pepper spray. Is that true?
That is absolutely true.
He's not talking to you.
Yeah. Naga Viper pepper and Carolina Reaper. Yeah, it's spicier than pepper.
Hey, Danny.
I hope you're happy, Michael.
Oh, I'm very happy right now.
Good. Because yeah,
Danny.
Niagara Falls, man. It's like this is like almost as bad as when Cece broke up with me. Jesus.
Why did they develop
Danny,
something harder
Danny.
than pepper spray?
Danny, when you finish drinking that ice cream, get some milk.
Need more ice cream.
Drink some milk, Danny.
Yeah.
Why did
Don't
they
give him
develop
good
some?
advice.
Why
Well,
did they
he,
develop something
I'm
hotter
desperate.
than pepper spray?
for shits and giggles, Kermit. I mean, come on.
Jesus Christ.
That's
Danny,
What?
make sure you drink some milk when you finish. Drink some milk.
Milk? Nah, that's what they gave me ice cream.
I know, but I'm
Yeah,
saying you might want.
ice cream is better. Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, no. When you finish the ice cream, you might want to drink some milk after the ice cream.
Anything sweet helps.
Yeah.
But the problem is that really until the calcium's out, it's going to keep burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long is this expected to last, Michael? Ugh.
Oh, no more than 24 hours.
No, the pain starts dying down after a few minutes.
You said 24 hours, but then you said no. Just after everybody laughed, you said just a few minutes. So. About 15. About 15? Okay.
No, but seriously though, Danny, you've weathered this fairly well.
Yeah, you are doing pretty good. There are people that literally start.
They start acting like they're dying, and you're not acting like you're dying. So yeah.
Definitely the hottest thing I've ever eaten. Yeah.
Is there anything more powerful?
Like I remember when LDG.
Is it hotter than Indian food? Is it hotter than Indian food?
Oh, it's definitely hotter than Indian.
It's Indian food is the hottest food I've ever eaten.
Mercer, Indian food is baby shit compared to a one chip challenge.
Yeah, the one chip challenge is literally the hottest thing you can eat.
Oh, they know because I've been saying that to them. Yeah. So I finally.
I heard somebody died.
I
heard somebody died from the one chip challenge.
Yes, a kid. That's why they're pulling it off the shelves. You can't buy it.
Yeah, a 14-year-old kid. In fact, JD, who's recording this for me, sent me the link about 30 minutes before I got here, asking me if I was still sure I wanted to do this, and I said even more than ever. So
you can't buy it anymore?
Well, I think
I got an email from Amazon today that saying that you can't buy it.
Why not?
Can you tell that? Can they see the tears in my eyes?
I mean, it's tragic, but
yeah.
Why would they pull it after one kid died?
Well, the thing is that it's a product for adults, and 14-year-olds aren't supposed to be eating it.
Right.
It actually does say keep out of reach of children. Right on it.
Right.
Why would they develop it, though?
And apparently, as a heart attack survivor, supposedly I'm not supposed to be eating this either, but I think I'm doing all right.
Oh, wow.
Are you sure you're all right?
I mean, so far.
He's okay. He's in a bar. Right?
By the way, your mom is saying that this is great until you crap it out.
Yeah, LDG was talking about that. He said he almost melted the porcelain when he had to take a.
I'm gonna have to just for my mom. I'm gonna quote my stepdad and say I'm gonna have to shit in the creek, keep from setting woods on fire.
No, I think you're gonna have to live stream that part too.
All righty.
You're gonna
good enough, right? Yeah. All right, guys. Here, I'm gonna flip the camera. I'm gonna flip the camera back around on me, so JD can get back to work.
Hey, JD, thanks for helping out.
They said thank you for helping out.
You feel okay?
Yeah. Not right now. Yeah.
They serve ice cream at that bar. Wow. I suppose they have to have some for like grasshoppers and shit.
Hot damn.
Yeah.
Definitely the hottest thing I've ever eaten. By far.
Can't wait to see how you tackle the insect kebabs.
My sinuses are nice and clear, though. My God.
I'll bet.
So, yeah, Darren's looking forward to seeing you eat the insect kebab.
Oh, compared to this, the insect kebab will be nothing. Jesus.
It's a different kind of experience, though.
although the video LDG showed me of you eating it was hilarious.
Oh God, yeah.
It was pretty nasty, man.
Oh, the noises that Salty made while he was trying to get those bugs down was just hilarious.
It's not as hot as that, obviously, but I had Thai food before.
Thai food is nothing.
No, I said that's why it's not that hot. I said it's not that hot.
Yeah, I just got to blow my nose again.
Indian food does it for me. Oh my god!
And welcome, Indy, by the way.
Is that why you're called Indie Tiger? Because you like Indian
also,
food?
to be fair, different foods affect different people in different ways.
My initials, Darren, are ND. So
okay,
easily
that works.
becomes Indy.
Yep. Okay.
Indiana.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean, Salty?
Yes, we know what you mean, Kermit. Thank you.
Read that.
Yeah.
Intended for adult
children.
consumption.
Children.
Yeah, intended for adult.
Keep it away from the children.
Can I ask you guys a question? A couple years ago, I got some Star Trek
We didn't
wine.
say you could ask.
Wow, Darren.
And I got this.
Go ahead, Mercer.
I got 2 bottles of wine. One is Cardassian. What do they call that? Cardassian. What do the Cardassians drink?
They drink something called Kanar.
Kanar. I got a bottle of Kanar and Cardassian. No, not in our Andorian ale. Okay, this blue stuff. I got it from a friend who I've never actually met in person. He sent it to me, but I'm not a wine drinker. Is there like etiquette? Do I not drink it? Do I save it, or can I? Like, I know that sounds like a dumb question, but wine is different than, it's more like a gift rather than, what I mean? Can I drink it? And is it going to be good?
Well, no, obviously not. There are no such things as Andorians, so or Cardassians. So obviously, what's in those bottles is just shit. So what I would do is dump them out, or just keep them as a curiosity on your shelf and never open them.
Yeah, honestly, it's
just
not
keep
like,
on it. Just keep on it.
I would say this, Mercer, since you're not a wine snob or anything, it's
I wouldn't drink them, man. I just leave them as decor.
Yeah, it's not like it's good wine, right?
Really?
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna, you're not getting like Dom Perignon or anything. So I would just leave it in the bottle.
And Kanar is actually like maple syrup. Have you ever seen them actually pour it on it? It's like syrup. It's not, so I mean, if it's not syrup, then it's not Kanar, and it can't be Kanar because there are no Cardassians. But
but that guy who played Damar, what his name is? He said he was. He said it was mixed with syrup and honey.
What I really want now is a bottle of Draknar so I can turn into a cartoon.
He said it was.
Here's the Kanar.
You'd turn into Homer Simpson.
Here's the Kanar. Can you guys see it?
That's like that. Yeah, see, that's a great bottle. I would just leave it as is.
Really? Okay.
Drink that.
Yeah, this is what I didn't know. If I'm supposed to drink, if you expected me to drink it,
not a novel. That's probably not even wine in there. It's probably colored water.
Yeah,
it might be wine, but like I said, if it is, it's not like it's going to be something really
Mercer,
great.
Did you ever play or even hear of the game Fallout 4?
I played it
with a little kid.
I'm not asking you. What was that, Mercer?
It has a little kid in the logo. Yeah.
Okay. So they had a product that came out in conjunction with that game. It was called Nuka-Cola Dark, and it was rum. It came in a bottle that was supposed to look like the bottles that are in the game, right?
Right.
Well, technically what was in the bottle was rum, but it was the worst quality, grade F quality rum you could find. But it wasn't about the rum, it was about the bottle. And that's what that Kanar is all about.
And this thing too, this Andorian.
More than likely.
That's just what you're buying with that stuff is just a fancy bottle with liquid in it.
Okay.
It could be spring water. It could look
it's
like
probably
spring water.
not even real wine.
Well, I'm sure it's wine. I'm sure it's technically wine. But it doesn't matter and that's why I said it's not going to be good wine. And to me,
I don't know anything about this stuff, so I really appreciate it. I mean, I'm not being sarcastic at all.
No, but I would just, I mean, if you like what it looks like, you put it on a shelf and you brag to your friends about the fact that you've got a real bottle of Canard, you know?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years, but I never knew what the etiquette was. Like there's
no etiquette to it. A friend, you know what? If I had a friend that gave me a bottle of Dom Perignon, I'd probably never drink it, and I'd just brag about the fact that I got a bottle of Dom Perignon in my collection.
Yeah. Mercer.
You had now, buddy?
Yeah, Mercer.
I mean, I'm going to keep watching, but I got to take a leak, and I doubt you guys want to join me for that. So I am going to say,
some people might.
So I guess I should probably wash my hands first, just in case, right?
No. You're supposed to go raw dog, buddy. Especially, you should rub your hands on the chip dust first, though.
Danny,
oh yeah.
Some people might.
That's what a real man does.
See if we got the logo right there.
Some people might want to see that.
Chauncey, you still have that sodium Brandon bottle?
Hey man, my mom.
Yeah, it's right over there.
I'll get in the chat though, guys.
I got you.
I'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Yep.
All right,
It's pretty cool. This thing actually sticks out. It's actually like a separate piece that sticks out of the bottle. It's an emblem of the United States.
Oh, Mercer. Yeah.
But yeah, the Saurian brandy, though, the funny thing there is that's actually a Dickies bottle that they appropriated for Trek. Yeah. It's not a special bottle that, like with the bottles that Mercer has.
Yeah.
Like with those bottles, they were designed specifically for the show. But Saurian brandy is a bottle that the people that at the show were like, "Ooh, that's a cool bottle. Let's repaint it and make it look like."
What were you saying, Darren?
Huh?
You were saying
anything.
Your connection was bad. That's.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna take off camera, but I just wanted to share that with you guys, and thanks for your opinion. I'm gonna keep them back to the bottle, then and I'll just keep it on the shelf.
Yeah,
really do appreciate it though, because I honestly didn't know. Like if he kind of said, "Hey, you should have drank that a long time ago," and
I don't think he would be offended, because if anything, he'll just like the fact that you appreciate the gift.
Okay.
Yeah. The coffee mugs on Deep Space Nine that they used were all ones that they all bought at a Walmart. They were actually very readily available at the time that in the 90s when they shot that show. I thought that was interesting because I didn't recognize them until they pointed that out. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I had one of those.
Yeah. I had the same. You remember in Enterprise when after Phlox gets partly assimilated by the Borg, and then Hoshi comes down to serve him food from the mess hall. I have those same food containers. Exactly the same food container. I noticed it. I'm like, I have those. And there's a scene in Andor where he's got a flashlight that I actually own. I'm just like, man.
I knew you couldn't go one stream, especially on Star Trek Day / Captain Kirk Day, without bringing up Andor.
Yeah, like I had this prop.
You can't not mention Andor and the Orville every stream. Now you already mentioned the Orville, and so now you got Andor in there. So congratulations, Mercer. Your bingo card is complete.
I fit it in. Thanks.
Yes. Even on Star Trek.
Barely an
inconvenience, and you got to finish with that.
Well, speaking of Star Trek, anything new came out after the Paramount flop?
Yes, they actually had something that was mildly amusing called The Very Short Trek.
Oh, geez.
No. It is actually kind of funny. It's an animation about 3.5 minutes long, and it is done in the style of Star Trek: The Animated Series. Basically, it's the Enterprise is under attack by Klingons, and Captain Kirk says, they're like, Spock is like, well, Captain, we're in trouble. The power's down, blah, blah, blah. And Kirk's like, oh, don't worry. I've got a plan. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And then Emrys is like, what? How dare you say that? It's actually super offended, right?
Does he blow the ship up?
and so Kirk was like, "Oh, I'm really, really sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I'm just saying that how did he put it? That that there's different ways oh gosh, what was it?
To win the
She
battle.
said, "How would you feel if I said there's more than one way to disembowel a human?" And he's like, "I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm just trying to say that there's
Wait a minute.
a
Was
lot
it
of
fish?
huh."
Wait a minute. I think did he say something about fish and a fish?
Yeah. He goes,
Oh,
"There's
that was it.
Shut up, Chief. I'm trying to talk." He says, "I'm just saying that there's a lot of different fish in the sea." And then from the other side of the bridge, a fish-headed ensign is there. And turns around and says, "What? How dare you say that?" And he goes, "I'm sorry, ensign. Look, don't get your knickers in a twist." And then all of a sudden, another ensign whose head looks like old-fashioned knickers turns around and says, "What? How dare you?" And it just gets crazier from there.
Did they blow the ship up?
Yeah, at the end, the Enterprise blows up. So, but it was actually pretty funny.
Can I tell you something related?
They advertise it as and it's the first of a series of these very short tracks, and they say they're very short and very not canon.
Wait, so do the Klingons blow the ship up, or does?
Yeah, because Kirk is so busy trying to
appease his crew.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to spoil the ending, so it's on YouTube. Just look up "very short trek" and you'll find it. It's called oh gosh, I don't remember, but like cat skin or something.
Yeah, just checking, the Deep Space Nine coffee mugs were made by a company called High Wave, and they were part of a line of mugs called the Hot Joe HOTJO. Yeah, hot without the E at the end, so it's just hot and then JO. And then it's and you can still get them online at different places, and they've changed the design a little bit since the show stopped, obviously. But yeah, that's where they got them all.
Can I tell a funny story related to what Michael just said?
What's that?
It better be funny.
Yeah, because Darren will not be amused if it's not funny.
I can't say all of what they did because it's your channel and it's YouTube. It was a Star Trek robot chicken sketch. So one of the crew members comes in and tells they traded all the lithium crystals for holographic naughtiness. And Kirk was like, thinks about it for a second. He's like, so we only have enough power to beam down like 7 crew members.
Ah, yes, I remember that one.
And then the last person to survive was Uhura, because she brought a gun, and they were going to cannibalize her because they forgot to bring food.
Actually, it was the red shirt that had a gun, and he killed everybody and ate them.
All right, there's too many crazy people in here now. I'm going to take off. I'll see you guys later.
Have fun.
All right, Darren.
See you, Darren.
Sorry, it was a while since I saw the episode.
Yeah, Uhura got to beam down, and she said that, excuse me, I have a vagina, and that's why she got to beam down. But, yeah. And how are you?
To keep it clean.
That is a very big bag of popcorn. That bag is as big as you.
And it says ketchup popcorn.
That sounds disgusting.
I
like ketchup chips, but ketchup popcorn sounds
great. Ketchup potato chips are good.
It tastes the same.
Sorry, everybody. I forgot.
Danny looks like it's still feeling the burn there.
Anything else they should talk about? Star Trek. Anything new? Anything else they could talk about? I know everybody on strike, so I know. Oh, they kept showing a lot of that. I seen some of that. Star Trek. Cast member on strike, but I was wondering if they announced anything new.
The only thing they said is that obviously we have Discovery, the last season of Discovery coming in 2024, and we also have the Section 31 movie and the upcoming series about Starfleet Academy.
I can't wait. This all sounds like winter stuff. I can't wait for Section 31 starring Michelle Yeoh.
God.
I think that is going to be an absolute disaster, personally.
Yeah.
So
nothing on Star Trek Legacy, huh?
I'm being sarcastic. I'll stick with my old Star Trek.
Oh, you should like it. It'll be just like Andor.
Yeah.
I have an idea for Star Trek. You could do that. It's like this is an Enterprise. Like an Enterprise. This is
so they didn't say anything about no Star Trek Legacy, right?
Yeah, it's
I don't think there'll be no green light on that.
It's like the USS Demeter, and is living like Earth to go on the Klingon planet, and they are living there with an unsuspicious, unknown luggage. And after that, during the travel, they are a vampire and wake up, and his name is Dracula.
I'm gonna go now.
All right. Well, I'm
okay.
gonna be wrapping up here.
All right, Kermit.
All right, Kermit.
Hey, Saucy, let me ask you a question. I just got to last weekend. I saw the episode 2S. Was it Mirror? You know that episode when Kirk they go to another Earth and they got trapped with that disease.
That would be Mirror. Mirror is when they go to the Mirror universe.
No, not Mirror. No, that's Mirror. You're talking about another Earth.
Right. Mirror is the one you're thinking of. That's the one where Kirk is a pedophile.
And since the last time we spoke, I saw The Flash. I like it. And I was really glad there was a cameo of Supergirl 1984.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Did they say that the species was like 100 years old or something like that? They all 300 years old. The kids.
I think they were like 300 years old.
Yeah, they're like 300 years old or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have a longer lifespan. Okay.
Yeah.
But the problem is they were successful at making people live longer. The problem is that they died as soon as they hit puberty.
Okay. So you think it maybe is a reverse? So they grow old and go young. And what's the name of that movie? That movie with Brad Pitt. You know,
what? No.
Huh?
They just the problem is that 300 years ago on this planet, scientists came up with, they were trying to work on a way to make people live longer, and they were successful, except that it only worked on people before puberty, and it killed everybody else.
Oh.
And so every time someone hit puberty, they immediately died.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
And the children are the only ones left because they've extended their lifespan by hundreds of years.
Right. So the younger they were, the longer they would live. So, like, theoretically, the kids that we saw in that episode that were only like 10 years old, by the time the Picard is around, still look like they're about 10 years old.
Oh.
Because they age incredibly slowly. But the problem is that eventually, now, of course, McCoy managed to cure the disease, but if McCoy hadn't cured the disease, once she eventually, thousands of years from now, hits puberty, then she would just immediately die.
Okay. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they were going to die out anyway because they'd eaten all.
Right, because they ran out of food.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thanks to the timely intervention of Starfleet, now they're going to survive. Although it's going to be interesting, like
because I remember when he said when they was leaving, they send a research vessel or something vessel.
they're going to send basically social workers and stuff like that to help out the kids. But the interesting thing, and who knows how many thousands of kids there are spread throughout the planet, because they just saw the kids that were in that one city.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we don't know how many there are all around the planet. But which raises the question, like, what do you do with, I mean, as far as we don't know how old the youngest ones that are still alive are. But imagine kids that are only biologically, say, 3 or 4 years old, and it's going to take them tens of thousands of years to reach puberty.
But they are intelligent.
Well, they're intelligent, but they have the emotional development of a child.
Is that what happened with Sprite in that movie, The Eternals? Why was she always a child?
No, Sprite was physically a child, but emotionally she was like an adult. And so that was her problem, because she wanted to have, the same kind of relations that an adult would have, but she couldn't.
Why did they make her a child? Why would
Ask the Celestials. They don't answer that.
Okay. And why did the Celestials not give them each all the powers?
Yeah. Ask the Celestials. They don't answer that.
You should ask the nearest Celestial.
But as far as in Miri, I mean, that would be an interesting one to go back to.
What about Prime Directive? You think you broke any kind of Prime Directive on there? The Prime Directive.
The Prime Directive would not apply to that planet.
Okay.
Why award the duck as the age of a duck?
What?
Why award the duck as the age of a duck?
Why is the duck the age of a duck?
Yes, award the duck.
Howard the Duck?
Howard the Duck?
Howard the Duck. How old is Howard the Duck?
How old is Howard the Duck? I don't know.
He has to be the age of a duck.
Well, Howard the Duck isn't actually a duck, He's an alien.
He's an alien looking like a duck.
He's an alien that just happens to look kind of like a duck. But he's not actually a duck.
A doctor.
But he knows quack foo.
Oh, no.
Anyway.
I love that movie, by the way.
I've never seen it.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Leaders of the Lost Stork. Yeah, that was a good.
Raiders of the Lost what?
Stork. Like if you watch Howard the Duck in the beginning when they show his apartment, the first thing you see is a movie poster that looks like Raiders of the Lost Ark, but instead it has a picture of a duck-looking Indiana Jones character, and it says Breeders of the Lost Stork.
Okay. Well, I've never seen Howard the Duck.
You've got to see the movie. Oh, it's so great. You got to see it.
No, it's horrible.
How do you know if you haven't seen it?
Because I know. That's one that I don't need to see the movie to know it's a horrible movie.
You know that you didn't see it?
You got to watch it once.
No, I'm not interested in seeing Howard the Duck.
What?
It's pretty funny, actually.
It looks
I've
absolutely
seen it.
horrible.
I didn't care for it. It might be good if you were still doing movies with Life with Matthew.
Yeah. Well, you see, that might be one that I would watch like with friends to laugh at. But it's not one that I'm going to watch just to be entertained.
Yeah.
So here's a question. Since we were talking about that planet, you can think there were You think Starfleet would make them join the Federation, or just keep them as what distance from them?
Well, right now they don't have a functioning government, so they can't
Oh,
join the Federation.
that's right.
But
I
what
mean,
I
20
would
years.
say, as far as the Prime Directive is concerned, remember the Prime Directive is that you cannot interfere with the natural growth and development of an indigenous population. But the natural growth and development of the indigenous population of that alternate Earth was completely destroyed. And so there was no interfering with it. It had been wiped out. And so now they were just trying to save what was left. And so just like, remember, Kirk, people say, oh, Kirk violates the Prime Directive all the time. No, he doesn't. And every time people accuse him of violating the Prime Directive, if you pay attention, a lot of the times they actually discuss it, where he'll say the Prime Directive doesn't apply here because X, Y, and Z.
I thought when the time agent on Deep Space Nine say what 13 times? Was it 13 times he violated Prime Directive?
But he
look in the private chat.
I think the time agents were more concerned with Kirk.
They were talking about
going
temporal
back in
inversion.
time.
Oh, temporal.
Salty, look in the private chat
Temporal.
before you go.
Okay.
What were you saying, Tiger?
Posted for everyone to
Okay,
see.
yeah, I see it. That's the okay. That's weird.
Posted. That's one of the first things you
So
see.
you think that's funny, but you think that the humor in Lower Decks isn't?
Well, it's just that it was funny the first season, but now they're just using the same kind of humor for 3 seasons. But look at this picture.
Well, what do you expect them to do? Completely change the type of humor they do?
Well, they could do something funnier than just naming things that don't.
They do. Watch the show. It's not. You know what? The entire show isn't them naming things. That I don't know why you're hung up on that, because that's not all they do.
But did you show the picture? You're not sharing the picture with everybody so you could see what we're
Because
talking
the picture is too small to share on screen. Nobody be able to see it.
Okay.
But like Badgie was only in a couple of episodes, and Badgie was just the name of a character.
And it was based on the paperclip guy from.
Yeah, it's based on
Microsoft.
Clippy.
So it's a completely original script that Badgie appears in both episodes of Badgie.
Well, speaking about Laura Deck, you think they might go back to that planet?
I don't know.
You mean the Miri planet?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, they went back. They went back 2 planets on Deep Space Nine. I mean, they went back 2 planets on.
I don't know
Deck.
what they're gonna do. I mean, because on Lower Decks they could end up anywhere.
Yeah.
And so who knows?
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing about Lower Decks is that, despite I know some people hate that show with a passion, but honestly, the funny thing about the show is that while it is at its core a comedy, they also have some real Trek adventure in there. Like they have this building plot this season with this weird alien ship that's absolutely obliterating both Romulans and Klingons.
I was actually, what is that?
Which, by the way, the ship looks an awful lot. Thomas Potts pointed this out. The ship looks an awful lot like an agonizer from the Mirror Universe.
Well, to me, it looks like like when Janeway goes back at the end of Voyager, and they've got that armor plating. It looks like a Delta flyer with that armor plating. In my opinion. Or maybe not the Delta flyer, but a space shuttle. One of the Star Trek shuttles with that armor.
Wait a minute, yeah, because I can see that, because remember they had a evil warrior twin from Section 31. So you think they could set up or something? I think that's gonna happen. The evil Butler, well, what's his name, Baller, but doing something in that ship.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm interested in it. Just like they did the Packlid plot, and they've done other stuff.
Yeah.
That honestly, they do some surprisingly good storytelling along with the silly
I like that aspect in the first season, but I don't know. I'll give it a shot. I'm not going to rule it out. I just there's something I wish I could articulate what I don't like about it. I don't like the animation, first of all. That's the main thing I don't like.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you know what? I'll be honest, Mercer. I don't like the animation of Star Wars, Clone Wars, or Rebels.
I don't like those either.
But I managed to go through them because the storytelling is good.
Yeah.
And especially Rebels. And I'm really glad now that I watched all of Rebels because it filled in a lot of what's going on right now with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like I know.
I saw the beginning of Rebels and the one with Vader in the second season where they fight Vader. So that one.
Well, the thing is that if you especially see, I know for a fact that Ahsoka's not dead, and I know where she is.
Yeah,
and I know that that's not Anakin she's facing; it's Vader.
Well, I'm caught between that owl thing, the owl that was talking about.
It is Vader she is facing.
I mean, Vader. Okay.
Vader.
Okay.
Darth Vader.
I don't know. Okay.
Dark Lord of the Sith. Bad guy.
In this, I just.
Well, he's not wearing the Vader suit.
Huh?
How do you know it's Vader and not Anakin? It could be Anakin before he turned to Vader.
Absolutely not.
Because of the lightsaber he's holding?
Oh well, it's not. He's not holding it. It's on his belt.
Right? Is that why?
But that is Vader's lightsaber, not Anakin's.
Okay, but is that the reason? Well, it still could be. It still could be a costume mistake. It could still be.
And Danny is still sweating.
It could still be Anakin before he became Vader.
Why would he have Vader's lightsaber when he's?
Because they probably just give him a lightsaber. They probably didn't think about it.
No, they absolutely. This is Dave Filoni we're talking about, and we're not talking about some amateur. By the way, they also play the Vader music at the end.
Yeah,
if you listen carefully,
I did.
And do you know where she is?
Who, me?
No, I'm asking Mercer.
I heard it was something called The World Between Worlds, but I haven't gotten to those episodes yet.
Right.
But I did.
So you don't know what the World Between Worlds is?
I know like what I've heard, in whispers, but I've not gotten to those episodes yet.
Right. So to date, there have been only 2 people technically 3 that have experienced the World Between Worlds.
Yeah, Ezra Bridger.
Will you let me finish, Chief? So yes, Ezra, who we haven't seen in this series yet, except for in a hologram, Ahsoka herself, and the Emperor.
Oh, really? The Emperor? Interesting.
Yes.
Hi guys, I need to go sleep because tomorrow I'm cutting dead animals.
And Danny says, seriously sweating it. I told you, man. I tried to tell you.
I think we're going to be wrapping up soon anyway, according to some.
Have a good night.
Alexander, it's always good to see your craziness. You take it easy, buddy.
Yes, I'm gonna be back. Don't worry, I'll be back.
All right. Happy Captain Kirk Day.
Thank you very much to you.
Kirk Day. So Danny is living long and perspiring.
Yes, he is. Danny is living long and perspiring right now. And so we'll see how he does tomorrow when we're supposed to watch another episode of the animated series. He'll be still sweating. But hey, the good news is he'll be losing weight.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Oh shoot! I can't get a 1 chip now because they just stopped sales. Darn it! Should have gotten one. Better get your fuel up, buddy. Hydrate.
Well, thanks for. I'm gonna check those episodes out at some point.
Yeah, it's worth watching because if you understand how the World Between Worlds work, it's time travel, but the only people that even know about it are if it's Vader, why did they de-age him? Because Vader is dead in the time that Ahsoka takes place. If they didn't de-age him, it could be Anakin. You see, because if it was like a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's a Force ghost." If it was a Force ghost, they wouldn't have had to de-age him.
Is it like the Nexus?
Wait, I'm getting confused. Okay,
is it like the Nexus?
Not really like it's, well, in a way, yes, in a way, no. It's a place where time doesn't really exist. So you go into if you can find a way into the World Between Worlds, you can exit the World Between Worlds at any time and place.
Okay.
That is kind of similar.
Right, it's similar to that, but inside of it, you don't get to like your dream world or anything.
Okay, let me make sure that because I'm getting real. Okay, Anakin, we know. Okay, when he died, I know they changed it, but when he died on Turn of the Jedi, he was wearing the original outfit, the brown whole thing, the whole 9 yards. Now and here, he's wearing the uniform that we all saw in Revenge of the Sith. So,
right.
So you saying since he's wearing that, and that close that's last thing he was wearing before he turned to the dark side.
Well, first of all, there's a couple of possibilities. One is that, remember, he was wearing that outfit when he slaughtered the younglings.
Yeah.
And he was wearing that outfit when he was dueling Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
so he very well could have in the time in between that gone into the World Between Worlds. So, like, after slaughtering the younglings, the Emperor could have sent him into the World Between Worlds, where he ran into Ahsoka. So that's one possibility. Another possibility. Oh, just a second. You're breaking up really bad. I can't understand you. I don't know what's going on with your mic, but Mercer, I can't understand you at all. Try unplugging and replugging in your mic or something, because and we'll see if he comes back on.
What you were saying?
I want to wait for Mercer to get back here, because his audio was completely fried there.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, there was just no.
So the thought that I had to get out.
There we go, much better.
Real quick, the thought I had to get out is, it seems like they could be retconning Anakin's redemption if they're having Ahsoka meet up with him in the past. And I'm worried that they're trying to retell all of Star Wars so that Luke is not as important as Ahsoka is.
I don't. No.
I hope that's not what's happening.
Anything. So remember, Filoni has been working with Star Wars for a very long time, and so he's been telling stories that took place alongside of movies, in between movies, and now after Jedi, but before the sequels. And so he's been very, very good at doing this for a very long time. And so what I think there's, and this is based on what we've seen in the World Between Worlds before, because there's one other possibility. And that is that we're going to see Anakin transform right in front of our face.
Yeah.
From what we see right now into the Darth Vader in the suit.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that in the other World Between World episodes where Palpatine got into the world between worlds, trying to get Ezra. He looked like kindly old man Palpatine, like, you know, the nice, Emperor Palpatine before he got mangled. However, he was actually mangled Emperor Palpatine. But he projected himself to look like kindly old Palpatine. And then when that didn't fool Ezra and he knew that this guy was up to no good, he cast off the illusion and became the evil emperor that we know.
Interesting. Yeah, that could happen. By the way, they're going to show episode 5 in theaters.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
They're still going to show it on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah, but they're going to show it Tuesday night in theaters. I don't know if you knew that.
No. Well, that probably means it's going to be pretty epic.
I hope.
Because I remember that Rebels, when she was fighting Vader, the long fight and everything, and the what's the top of a pyramid or whatever we call it, and the light and all that stuff. I can feel that. See the energy pulling both of them.
And Danny, total time for you was probably about 20-25 minutes, which is about right.
So I can see part of him might have gone aside. That's what I was thinking. Because, even though I saw him at the end, he's limping back to the shuttle. But I thought maybe some part of that force of him, the good part of him, somebody got sucked into that thing.
And so what we may see is a full-on lightsaber battle between Darth Vader and Ahsoka, which they've fought before, obviously.
Yeah, and
so.
Yeah, and that's where everybody could complain about the episode.
And thank you, Nerdrotic, for $1. Says Ahsoka is just another Disney attempt to destroy the original movies. Kathleen Kennedy must be stopped before it's too late. This time she will be fired. So
hey, Salty, I put another picture you might like in the private chat. I hope this is bigger. But if you get the joke, it's even funny. If you actually think about the joke, you'll like it.
Okay. Well, that's different. I'll give you that.
But you get the joke?
Well, yeah, obviously it's Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan.
Yeah, I thought you might like that.
Let's see if I can.
I'm actually this question, you guys, we talk about this thing. The guy, Stevenson, who played at the evil, well, not evil, he's not evil Jedi.
That's great.
Mm.
Yeah, it is great.
So you're talking about Balin?
Yeah, I don't think he. Would you agree? I don't think he's not sad at all. I think he's just like a Jedi for hire, who just gave up the.
Well, clearly he's not a Sith.
Yeah, so he could be just a Jedi for hire kind of person. He just didn't get.
Well, I think the title of the episode says it all. He's a fallen Jedi.
Yeah, fallen Jedi. I'm saying just fallen Jedi. Just Jedi for hire because someone. I think she paid him. Cause you feel that what she's doing, she pay him do this, pay him do that. Because she kept saying.
I don't know how we got on the Star Wars thing, Thomas, but I'm gonna wrap it up in a minute anyway.
Oh.
But anyway, keep going. So what about it? So he's a Jedi for hire. So.
Yeah, that would be a great idea for that series right there. Have him like that, be that kind of guy.
Obviously, he's working for her, but I don't think he's quote unquote a Jedi for hire. I think he's a true believer in Thrawn.
Okay.
Because he's not doing this because she's paying him. He's doing it because he wants to get Thrawn.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Because
I thought
what did he tell
that it was about money?
What did he tell his apprentice? That Thrawn is the key to ultimate power.
Yeah, but I thought he said in the first episode that he was getting paid.
No, he said that this was the key to ultimate power, to more power than she could ever possibly dream of.
I'll have to look later. I'm not going to look right now, but I thought in the first
Wow,
episode,
Indy, nice for you to come to my defense. Just throw me under the bus, why don't you?
When do you not lose control?
Yeah.
Well, when I say this, you are the salt of the earth, and I'm the salty trekker, and I am in control because I can hit this button.